In this tutorial, we will design various combinational circuits, and we will be using some of the combinational circuits as building blocks. For example, we will be using decoder, we will be using multiplexer, along with, of course, few additional gates to design few other combinational circuits, for example, like subtractor. So we'll see that how these designs can be implemented. So first, for example, we will take this example. Question number 4. So which says that implement a full subtractor, which is a combinational circuit, which will give two outputs, D, the difference, and borrow. Saurav, please mute yourself. So we have to design a full subtractor, which will have two outputs, the difference and the borrow that it has taken from the left side to complement the subtraction. And there will be three inputs, A, B, C. And this circuit we have to implement using a decoder and suitable number of NAND gates. Right? So in this circuit, what we have to do is in solution 4, what we have to do is design full subtractor, which will take inputs A, B, C, and it will produce D and B naught. So what is the meaning of all these inputs and outputs? So we have to fundamentally perform A minus B. And whenever A is less than B, there will be a borrow that you will have to take from the next stage. That means on the left side, the two numbers that will be on the left side, you will have to take this BO, and if this A minus B, I mean these A and B are the numbers, and then when you start performing A minus B, there will be various number of bits. Say A itself could be 3-bit number and B also 3-bit number, or A 8-bit number, B also 8-bit number. So this will happen only in the first stage, but first stage means LSB. But when you take any other bit on the left side of LSB, then it might so happen that stage which is on the left side, it might have taken a borrow from A. So that will be called as C. In general, with A, there will be two types of borrow involved. The borrow that it has given to the right side stage, right side bits, and the borrow that it might take from the left side to complete A minus B. So here C is taken as input along with B and A, while B naught is taken as output. And D is, of course, A minus B. So this is the explanation of this combinational circuit, but we have to now implement this combinational circuit using our decoder. So we know that decoder takes a few number of inputs and it produces multiple outputs. Only one of them will be high. For example, here we will be taking this kind of decoder. There will be 3 inputs and there will be 8 outputs. So this will be 3 to 8 decoder. So to implement this, we of course need to find out the Boolean expression for D and B naught. If you are able to find out the Boolean expression for this D as function of A, B, C, then you can implement this circuit. That means you have to basically fill this table A, B, C, D, B naught. So if you're able to fill this circuit can be implemented easily. So just try to fill this table and then try to implement D and B naught using the decoder. I will pause for some minutes.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, expression for D is X, uh, that sign of XOR, Y, XOR, Z.
Uh, okay. That might be fine, but here keep in mind that you will have to implement using a decoder. So where the inputs are going to be something like this. This is A, this is B and C. And what is the meaning of decoder? All these outputs, let us call them as D bits. So they will start from D0, D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6, D7, so on and so forth, right? So actually I have labeled this as D, but they could have been labeled in a different way also. For example, let us call them M0, M1, so on and so forth, M7. So why have typically D is used, but I have deliberately moved to M. Why? Because you see that uh, based upon this ABC value, only one of these M output will be high at any given moment of time and rest all will be zero. So for example, let us consider this example 0, 0, 1. Oh, sorry, 1. So in this case, what will happen is what will happen in this case, this is equivalent to decimal number 1. So that means this M1 is going to be high and rest all are going to be 0. This will be the scenario for this specific input. So now it will be beneficial if we represent this D that we want to implement as sum of these M's. So in this case, we have been forced to use decoder, and that is why we will try to represent the function that we are trying to implement in terms of these outputs. And you can see that these outputs, they are basically the mean term, because here you can see that A bar, B bar into C will give you 1. So when we say that M1 is 1 for 001, that means this decoder is creating sort of min term for these A, B, C inputs, right? So it will be better that if we represent each of these two desirable functions in min term, then we can directly implement with the help of decoder and few additional gates, right? So let us first fill this table, because as I pointed out, any Boolean function implementation starts with filling the function table. So these are the 8 possible inputs. So as I mentioned, here we have to perform A minus B, and C is something that has been taken on the right side bits, which will be present in general, and B naught is the borrow that A takes from the left side to complete the subtraction. So you can fill this table, uh, and it will turn out to be like this. And then we have 0, 1. Here. So here we can take one example of this case to understand how these D is 1 and B naught is 1. So here we have to carry out 0 minus 0. A is 0, B is also 0. This is what we have to carry out. And here uh, C is 1. C is 1. That means it has already given one borrow to the left side. Since it is 0, so it cannot give 1 to the right side. So what it will require, it will first require to take one borrow from the left side. And when it takes one borrow, this becomes momentarily 2. And from this 2, it gives 1. So it finally becomes 1. So that is why you can see that this C is here. And because to execute C, it had to take one borrow from its left side. So that is why B naught is 1. And then ultimately 0 minus 0 gets transformed to 1 minus 0. So here obviously the answer is going to be 1, and that is why we have 1 here. So this is the interpretation of all these 4 letters. So now once we have filled D, you can see that D is uh, D is this bit, this mean term, this mean term, and this mean term. So here you can see that this is 0, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we see that T is summation of mean terms 1, 2, then this one 4, and then 7. Right? Similarly, B naught can also be represented. So now we can go back to decoder. So what we have to do here is 1, 2, 4, 7. So we fundamentally need to do this thing. 1, 2, 4, and 7. So this is what will be our D. But the question has restricted that we have to use NAND gate. So this OR gate, 4 input OR gates cannot be used. So that is the challenge we have to face in this question. Otherwise, this is the implementation of difference part of the full subtractor using decoder and external gate. So now we are going to get rid of these, and let us try to see that how we can use NAND gate. So keep in mind that we have to basically implement 4 input OR gate using NAND gate. So here, so we can now just try to see that how 4 input NAND gate can be implemented using this one. So we know that if we want to do say x plus y plus z, then what we can do, we can do the NAND of X bar, Y bar, Z bar, right? So we have been allowed to use NAND gate. So for this, we can use NAND gate. For inverting also, we can use NAND gate, right? So here we can invert all these inputs 1, 2, 4, 7, and then give it to single NAND gate, and then it will implement basically uh, OR. So we can take one, create inverter using NAND. We can take similarly 2 also, invert it using NAND, and then 4, and then finally 7, and then give it to another NAND gate here. So this will give you D, right? So this is the implementation of the difference part of the full subtractor. Similarly, one can implement the borrow out, BO. So do you have any question or suggestion here? Then we can move to next question. And before we move to next question, I would like to emphasize one aspect which you will have to be careful with in the next question. So here, when we take a specific input, the decoder, normal decoder, will give output corresponding to that min term. And the output is going to be 1, rest all are going to be 0. So such type of outputs are called active high. That means desirable output is high and undesirable outputs, they are 0. And this is the normal decoder. When we say just decoder, this is what we mean. Okay, so keep this fact in mind. And now let us move to the next question, which is question number 2. So this says that there are 3 combinational circuits that has to be implemented using decoder constructed with NAND gates, and with, of course, additional gates can be used, and they can be either NAND gate or AND gates. So read this question and then careful, be very careful in this question, and then try to implement F1, F2, and F3.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in this question, I have made the diagram of decoder where the like in first F1, the output from D3, D5, and D6 is connected to NAND gate, and the whole output from them is connected to another NAND gate. Similarly, as in previous question, is it correct?
No, you are using 3 NAND gates.
Four total.
Two NAND gates. No, even for F1, you are using 2 NAND gates.
Sorry, sir. What?
For F1, how many NAND gates you are using?
Like in total, I'm using 4 NAND gates, 3 for D3,
Only
D5,
for F1.
D6.
Let us talk about F1 itself. For F1.
I'm telling for like only for F1.
Acha. Hmm.
Just like we have done in previous question,
Mm-hmm.
I've taken output from like min terms where it is high, like 3, 5, and 6. Here I have connected NAND gates individually, and then output from these NAND gates are connected in a single NAND gate, just like in previous question.
Now here, recall that I emphasized that decoder constructed with NAND gates. Recall that last time I emphasized that we are using normal for the subtractor. We use normal decoder, but here we have a decoder with NAND gate. That means NAND gate version of the decoder. So this is not the normal decoder, right? So that means there is something different in this case compared with the previous case. So that will have consequences. So first you have to ask yourself uh, how this decoder is going to differ from the previous decoder, right? And then decide how to implement it. So do you know how this NAND decoder differs from the normal decoder?
Sir, I
So
can't understand this line, like a decoder constructed with
so here
NANDs.
earlier earlier keep in mind that when we gave input 0 1 sorry 0 0 1, so min term was a bar b bar c, and that corresponds to decimal number is equal to 1, and that is why m1 was high, rest all were 0, right? So default value is 0. Only when a specific output becomes active, its value is going to be high, right? And in this decoder, if you see the internal circuitry of this decoder, then there will be AND gates, basically various, and each of these outputs are basically the outputs of AND gates, right? This is what happens in the normal decoder. But now it is saying that we have a different decoder, and this decoder is NAND gate based. So question 2. So what happens here is, instead of AND, which earlier we had, there will be NAND gates, and all these outputs and 0, they are going to be the output of NAND gates. So this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So this means, suppose you have A, B, C, and you have 0, 0, 1. In this case, M1 is going to be 0, rest all are going to be 1. Right? So this is NAND decoder. So this is the distinction between this decoder and the previous one. Now with this information in mind, you try to solve the problem.
Sir,
Hmm.
yeah, I have changed that a bit. Actually, yes, in this circuit, we will take output from like D3, D5, and D6, and we don't have to connect the NAND gate like individual NAND gate. We'll take the output and connect them to only single NAND gate. That will give the answer.
So you are saying that you will still continue to take the output from 3, 5,
And
and
6,
6,
and
and you will
connect them
connect
to
it to
single NAND gate.
NAND gate.
Yeah.
So suppose we had a normal decoder, which we use for the subtractor. In that case, our F1, which is given as 3, 5, 6, implies M3 plus M5 plus M6. So in that case, all these values, they would have been 1 for those specific inputs. So in that case, F1 would have been simply like this: M3, M5, M6, and this is what you would have got. But now you see that what we are getting here in NAND decoder, we are not getting M1, rather we are getting M1 bar, right? So what we are getting here is now M3 bar, M5 bar, and M6 bar. In fact, all are there. Uh, so this is what is available to us, right? And now if we put this bar version here simply in this gate, then what will happen is it will be uh, M3 bar plus M5 bar plus M6 bar. M6 bar. So this can be written as M3, M5, M6 whole bar. Right? So this will not be F1, it will be rather F1 bar. But now suppose we take NAND gate, which will invert this bar that we are getting here, and we give M3 bar, M5 bar, M6 bar. So what we will get here is M3 bar into M5 bar into M6 bar whole bar. So this will become M3 plus M5 plus M6. So this is the original M or the min term that we should usually implement. And since we are given the complement, so what we can do, we can take the output of this decoder, which is the complement, this M3, M5 and M6, which will be actually bar of them, and give them to a NAND gate like this. And what you will get ultimately is M3, M plus M6, summation 3, 5, 6. So this is the implementation. Right? So this is the correct implementation for F1. So what about F2? So for F2, you will of course extend this idea. So what it says that you simply pick the suitable M outputs from the decoder and give it to NAND gate, and that's it. And those suitable outputs that you have to pick from NAND gate, they will be decided by the min terms present in the function expression given. Right? So this is for the function 1. Now for function 2, you can, function 2 is F2 is equal to F2 is 1, 4. Here, 1, 4. So one can say that F2 is 1, 4. That means you simply take one NAND gate, give here the 1 and 4 outputs from the decoder, and what you will get here is F2, because they are going to be M1 bar, M4 bar, right? So one will be very quickly claim that solution of F3, which is summation 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, will be similarly like this: 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So one will be tempted to say that this is a solution. But keep in mind that what question says here is that minimize the number of inputs in the external gate. Right? So for F2, this is the solution that we just now wrote, because we always have to input NAND gate or AND gate. And keep in mind, it has a question says that this function can be implemented using maybe NAND gate or AND gate. So there either of these two can be used. So up till now for F1 and F2, we have used only NAND gate. And for this case, there are only two inputs, so there is no question of further minimization. Here one can maybe say, but let us say that 3 is also okay. But for the F3, we require 5 input NAND gates, so which is definitely not the minimum possible or minimum number of inputs. So this is where you will have to think a little bit. So the solution that will be proposed is not correct. Correct means not the correct from given question point of view. So what can you do here so that you will have to use less number of inputs in the gate, not so many 5 number of inputs.
So what if we draw the K-map? I mean, if 3
No,
is
no, no.
not.
The K map is not permitted. K map will not give you the solution because here F3 has to be in the form of min term. So when you do the K map, F no longer remains sum of min term. It becomes different. So one gate cannot be used in that case. So I will give you a hint that there are always two ways of representing any Boolean function. And second hint, that we have used up till now only NAND gate. The question says that AND gate is also a possibility. So using these two hints, you try to uh, get the simpler implementation of F3.
So hello.
Yes.
We can use an AND gate with 0, 1, and 4 input.
0, 1, 4. Yes. So when you go for 0, 1, 4, that means which type of terms you are using for representing the function?
It will be 1 because it's an AND gate decoder.
No. See, I mentioned that any function can be represented in two ways. One is using summation of min terms, right? Second way of representing the same function is in the product form. So this is sum of min term representation. And there is exactly equivalent product of max term representation. So product of max term. So here we will be writing like this, more ideally, summation of min terms, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. The same function can also be written as product of max term 0, 1, 4. That means those min terms which are not there in the min term representation. So we know that min term are those for which function will be equal to 1, and max term are those terms for which function has 0 value. So both give the exactly same description of the function, because we know that function will have either 0 value or 1. So either of these two techniques can be used for the representation. So whenever we find that there are more number of terms in the min term representation of function, we switch over to max term, because that time there will be less number of term in the max term representation. So here we have total of 5 terms, but if you go for the max term, you see that you have only 3 terms. That means here there will be 5 input gate required, here there will be 3 input gate required, right? And the nature of gate also might get modified. So in this case, this is going to be M0 into M1 into M4, right? And what are these M values? These are the values such that there is input for which this M values will be 0. For example, this M0 will be 0 when you have 0, 0, 0. This is A, B, C. If this input occurs, that M0 value is going to be 0, because this is M0 is represented as X plus Y plus, sorry, A plus B plus C. This is the min term 0, and when you have 0, this M0 is going to be 0. Similarly, this M1 is going to be 0 when you have 0, 0, 1. And M4 is going to be 0 when you have 1, 0, 0. Right? And you just need to AND them. And luckily, we have a decoder which is actually giving me 0 for all those values. So here we see that all these values are 0 whenever a specific input occurs. For example, here, whenever this 1, 0, 0 occurs, in that case we have 4. So this value is going to be 0. Rest all are going to be 1. Okay, so rest all will be 1, and this is going to be 0. So you can say that these outputs, they are either min term bar or they are max term. So this decoder is actually giving me max term. M0, M4 and M1. Right. So we just need to, so this is, as I mentioned, not the correct implementation. Rather, the correct implementation in this case is going to be simply this. So we here 0th pin, first pin, and the 4th pin of the decoder will be fed. And what you will get is F3. So that is why question said that you have to use either NAND gate or AND gate, and you have to minimize the inputs in the external gate that you are using. And that too, external gate should be connected to the decoder outputs directly here. There should not be anything in between the gates, these external gates, and the decoder. So it is only for the F3 that we use AND gate. For the rest of other functions, number of inputs is already small, 2 or 3. Okay, so now we are going to move to our next question. So all these questions up till now here, up till question number 5, they are all based on decoders. So now we have questions which is based on multiplexer. So question number 7. So just try to implement the part A of question number 7. Let us see question number 7A. It says that we have one multiplexer, 8:1. That means there is one output and 8 number of inputs. So all these will be called as I0, I1, I2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I7. And it has 3 selector pins, which will be called as S2, S1, S0. So these are the three inputs available to us. So it says that I1, I2, they are grounded, and 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7, all these are connected to +1 voltage, and 0 and 4, they are D. Sorry, this is, I made a mistake here. 1 and 2 are grounded. These 1 and 2, they are grounded. This is connected to D, and 4 is also connected to D, and 6 is connected to D bar. So it says that what will be this Boolean function. And here we have inputs A, B, C. So there are 4 inputs. So this is a Boolean function of 4 variable A, B, C, D. We know that in general, any Boolean function or the output of a multiplexer is given as this output is going to be equal to I naught. This is going to be equal to I naught if these selectors are 0, 0, 0. So basically what happens at any given moment of time, one of the inputs will be short circuited to the output depending upon the selector values. So for example, when you have 0, 0, 0, F will be equal to I naught. So this case, this output can be written as I0 into S2 bar, S1 bar, S0 bar. So here you can see that if you have 0, 0, 0, in that case, F is going to be equal to I naught, right? So similarly, if you have different values, say 0, 0, 1, in that case, F will be actually connected to I1. It will be equal to I1. So we can write F is equal to I1 into S2 bar, S1 bar, S0. That means min term corresponding to the selectors. So that way we can extend this. Finally, it will be sum of 8th term, which is I7 into S2, S1, S0. So this is the general way of representing the output of multiplexer. Now here what we find is that S2 is A, S1 is B, S0 is C. And this I0, I1 and I7, they have been already specified here. So we can simply substitute these I values here, and we can substitute each of the S by A, B, C. So we will get the actual expression. So for example, I0 is D. So first term that will appear here is D into A bar, B bar, C bar. Second term, here we see that I1 and I2, they are 0. So there will be 0 plus 0, and then we will have I3. I3 is equal to 1. So we will have 1 into, and corresponding to 3, what we will have here is 0, 1, 1. So this is going to be A bar, B, C. So in this way, you can write all the terms, and then write in terms of min term also. So if you write in terms of, and then you can fill the table for F, and then you can express it in terms of min term also if you like. Otherwise, it can be left as it is. So this is how we represent or find out the Boolean function that a given multiplexer with inputs and selector pins specified can be found out. So there's one more question based on multiplexer.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Is it this equation can be simplified using K-map?
Nick, at what stage you will take the help of K-map?
I mean, we can simplify this, right?
So tell me, what do you want to simplify? How, for example, where you will do
Now,
the simplify?
actually, we have got the final equation as like it is written over there.
Here,
Yeah, just like that.
yes,
And um, we can fill that in
this
K-map.
table, for example. So for filling the K-map, you need this table, or you need to represent f as sum of mean term, right? Then you can simplify. But here objective is not to get the simplified version or using mean term. Here objective was that given this circuit, how you can write the expression for the output. That is the main objective. Once you have got the expression, but whether that expression is in the form of min term or whether it is the simplest version, that is the secondary thing, right? So you can fill the table and then do the minimization right in the simplest form. That will come later on. First is how do you write this expression from that circuit given.
Okay, sir.
Right, minimization part we already know, and given this kind of expression, how do you write it in terms of min term? That also we have studied in one of the previous tutorial. Okay, so as I've been pointing out, there's one more question based on the multiplexer. So this time, what was given to us is a multiplexer with the full circuit, everything connected to it, and then we were asked to find out the Boolean function that it represents from circuit to function. So this is the question number 7. Its reverse question can also be said, which is the question number 8. Given function, find out the multiplexer based circuit. So function is given, for example, question 8a. So how do you implement this using mux multiplexer? And as we know, there are various types of multiplexer. So question will typically specify what is the multiplexer you will have to use. For example, here you will have to use 4:1 multiplexer. So, and only one. So only one 4:1 multiplexer has to be used. Of course, you can use gates, as many gates as you want, additional gates on the input side. So here we have, keep in mind, 4 inputs, A, B, C, D. And when you take a 4:1 multiplexer, there will be only 2 selector pins. So from the previous question, we saw that uh, all the selector pins, they are connected to the inputs. So if you have 3 selector pins, the 3 inputs will be connected there, and if there is any additional input, that will be connected to the actual input. Those are the IE inputs. So here we have only 2 selector pins and we have 4. So out of these 4, 2 will be connected to the selectors. So they will go to selectors S1 and S0. Then we have to find out what to do with the remaining 2 inputs C and D. So let us see what will be the general circuitry for this case. So we have 4:1 multiplexer, one output, 4 inputs. That means there are only 2 selectors pin. So in this function to circuit implementation, we give the higher inputs to the selector pins, for example A and B, and this output of course is going to be F, and on this input side we have to put a set of combinational circuits. Combinational circuits which will be fed with C and D. So in such problems, F2 circuit using mux, the most challenging part is finding out this combinational circuitry. And this challenge grows if the number of selectors pin is smaller and smaller compared with the number of variables. So number of selectors, if it becomes smaller and smaller compared with number of variables, then this combinational circuit complexity grows. This will become more and more complex. That means there will be more and more number of gates. So how do we find out this combinational circuit?
Yes, sir, I have done it.
Okay.
When AB is equals to 0, 0, our final
You
output.
can point out what will be this, say I naught.
Yeah, I naught is directly D.
Just a minute. I naught is D.
Yeah. And I1 is C bar D bar.
Yes.
And
And
similarly,
I2?
I2 is CD.
Yes.
And
And
I3 is 1.
yes, correct.
1 for it, irrespective of C and D.
Yes, yes. So for that, we take the help of the table, right? So for example, this is the question number 1. And let us see how to fill that, how to find out the circuit corresponding to CD. So here A and B, they were connected to selector pin. So when A and B are 0, for example, for all these 4 cases, A, B are 0, right? So in this case, F will be actually decided only by C and D. So what you can say is that when A and B are 0, F is simply function of C and D. F becomes function of C and D. So you have just forget everything else. You forget entire other table and just focus on this small part of the complete table of the Boolean function, where you have only 2 variables, C and D, and function is F. So now you can very quickly, with the help of Carnot map, decide what will be F. So F, you can see, is going to be C bar D here and then CD. So no need to take the help of Carnot map. You can simplify it and it will turn out to be equal to D. Right? So just remove or just forget those variables which have already been connected to the selector pin, and then try to represent the given function as the function of the remaining variables. That's it. Right? So this table is going to have 16 entries. All these 16 entries, they will get subdivided into 4 entries, set of 4 entries for each of the 4 possible values of A and B here. right? So first part we have already seen. Let us focus on second part. So this, what we got here, D is going to get connected to I0 because A0, B0 will select I0 because A0, B0 will make F is equal to I0. So I0 should be connected to D. Now when A is 0 and B is 1, in that case F is going to be equal to I1. So we have to find out what we should connect to I1. So now here you can see that when we have 0, 1, in that case my function actually should be simplified using this thing only here. So here I have C and D and function value is given here. So F is equal to 1 only when both C and D they are complement. So F is equal to C bar D bar, and this cannot be further minimized. So that is why this will be equal to I1. Similarly, when you look for the third case, then your F is here. F is equal to C into D. So it should be I2 should be connected to C into D. That means there will be one AND gate which will take C and D as inputs, and it will give product which will be connected to I2. Now if you see the last part, then for the last part we see that we have F always equal to 1 irrespective of what is C and D. So F is always equal to 1 and this will be connected to I3, right? So your combinational circuit here you can see is this thing, and 1 will of course be another input, right? So give the highest order bits to selector pins, and the lower variables they will be here in the form of combinational circuit decided by focusing only on those lower variables and the function value and taking the help of Karnaugh map if it requires. For example, if we are asked to solve the same problem using a 2:1 mux, in that case only a variable will be here, selector pin A, which is S0, and remaining B, C, D will be here in the form of combinational circuits. So this time you will have to take the help of Karnaugh map to find out expression for I0 and I1. So this is B, C, D. So this is what is the meaning I pointed out. If the number of variables is larger and larger compared with the number of selectors, then this circuit will become more and more complex.